Hello and welcome to Wands and Fronds and Friends. I'm Nick,
And I'm Eve Calisa.
and we are back together yet again for one of these fabulous Patreon bonus episodes. And
Yeah,
I am so excited.
me too. I always
Okay,
love getting to do these.
no, so if you guys remember, if you've been with us since the beginning, Eve did the haunted house Patreon bonus episode, which was
Yeah.
very cool and fun. But if you need a refresher, that one is also here. So without further ado, I do want to start this one by apologizing. We did not we kind of let things go for a bit of a break this summer, which we have mentioned a few times on the regular episodes, but we're back. We are back with the bonus content. So today, in honor of our recent episode, which featured the story of the Mothman, and like truly also by an episode which I've already recorded, but which is not out yet, about magical cats. I've really been in kind of like a cryptid thing recently.
It's just
So
serving that mood.
it really is serving that mood. And I feel like it's spooky girl fall. And one of my favorite spooky girl activities is to smoke a lot of weed and read the Wikipedia page about cryptids. Um, so something fun you guys can do at home if you're ever bored, because that is something that's so fun to do. There's like the Wikipedia,
Intriguing.
there,
Intriguing reading.
there's like the Wikipedia page that is just the list of cryptids and really fascinating stuff. Um, so I just thought it would be kind of fun to do for like this bonus episode to just talk about some of our favorite cryptids that are out there. And I think a good place to start actually is with the Mothman, because Mothman's spooky as fuck. And you're actually not that far from where the Mothman is from. So you are in regular Virginia.
Yeah. And all of that happened over in West Virginia.
Yeah. And I mean, like it is right on the Ohio border, so it's kind of like on the opposite side from you. But being from Texas, I'm like all those states are like 2 or 3 hour states, so that does not even
It's
seem that far.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't seem that far to me.
Yeah.
Like
It's not.
like literally you could drive for 12 hours from where I'm at in Texas and still be in Texas.
Exactly. And I can drive from 12 hours from where I'm at and I'll be in like New York or Canada or something.
Right. But yeah, so keeping up with Wands and Fronds tradition, yeah, I apparently always have to be talking to someone on the coast.
And it's funny. It's like we're all connected by the water, because you've got the Edwards Aquifer there in Austin, and then you got your other witch bitches on the coasts next to the
Oh
big
yeah.
water.
The big
Yeah,
waters and the little waters.
yeah, it's magical.
Actually, I do think the like Edwards Aquifer is actually really cool. And apparently I have a friend of a friend who works at the caves.
Oh, sick. Yeah, apparently you can go swim down there.
Um and yeah, so he has said he can just like get us in for like a private tour sometime. So
That's lit.
like I think that would be cool. But
Thanksgiving.
right? Shit. We'll go have Thanksgiving dinner in a cave.
Oh my God. And swim in the waters.
But no, okay, so kind of going back to cryptids though, I do think it's always kind of interesting, like cave animals.
Yeah.
Like this something I've always been interested in, like real animals that seem like cryptids, or like definitely weird little guys, like
The vampire bats and stuff.
well, not even okay, but like not even just like that. Those are like cave entrance animals, yeah.
Yeah. Facts.
But like the animals that actually evolve in the caves and they get like albino because they never go out in the sun.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Some of them even lose their
Oh,
eyes. Like there's a lot of species of like cave fish that just don't have eyes anymore. And that's kind of terrifying.
that's pretty wild.
Um,
I'm not as familiar with inner cave dwelling creatures. Now I'm curious.
oh, it's some spooky stuff, for sure. But also like a cave seems like the kind of place that you would see, I think, like shadow figures,
Yeah.
like shadow people. Have you ever seen shadow people?
Yes. And, there's a lot of different definitions for shadow people and like different
Mm-mm.
types of shadow people. Some of the basic definitions, just being like a figure that you see in the shadows rather than being a shadowy figure.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
but I've actually seen both. The stuff kind of really intrigues me. Like, I can't really explain it, and it's not like an everyday regular occurrence
Right,
either.
right, right.
It's like, I've seen like shadowy creatures, that seem as they themselves are a shadow, you know, that's
Yeah, yeah,
moving.
yeah. So like
And
the phenomenon of shadow people, yeah, it really is. It's like sort of like you see the silhouette of like a person,
yeah,
but it really is like it's like if a person was casting a shadow, as if like a physical person was like casting a shadow
yeah,
on a wall.
exactly. Exactly.
Um, but there
And
is no
you're seeing it interact with space and the dimensions of reality differently than other things around it.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
And I've definitely seen shadow people. I've never seen Hat Man, thankfully.
Yeah, I haven't seen a hat man.
Hat Man seems spooky.
Yeah. Seems
Um,
seems very spooky. Did you see the depiction of a hat type man in that show is on Hulu, no, Netflix, called Them?
I haven't seen that.
It's horrifying and terrifying and scary, but there's
I will say
some
it's like,
really supernatural elements to the tale, and yeah, it's pretty
yeah,
wild.
but yeah, shadow people. So there's a lot of speculation about what Mothman is, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's like one of the really interesting things around the whole like cryptid thing is it does get kind of caught
Mhm.
up in like folklore and mythology and
Totally.
and it's one of those things where it's like, is Mothman its own thing or is it like some other thing that already exists in mythology?
Right. Did we slap a new name on something that's been around because we didn't have that as like part of our culture and we didn't have a word for it, but it existed in other cultures, like sightings of it, under a different name, like Lechuza, La Lechuza,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
the you were saying
and
like the owl witch.
yeah. So she's supposed to be like this, like Bruja, that's like this big, huge white owl, like 7 foot, like bigger than a human, and like, but has like the face of a witch, and she's there to like, there's some legends of her like eating men or whatever, but mostly she warns people about things, like bad things that are going to happen.
And so that we did talk about in the main episode too, where it's like Piper, who I love on TikTok, basically said that the Mothman is a banshee, and I do kind of like that as an explanation because like a banshee is a kind of a fae that you hear her sort of wailing and crying, preceding the death of a loved one. And so the thing with banshee stories is that if your loved one is going to die, you hear the banshee, but someone could be in the same room, in the same space as you, and
And
not
not hear it.
and not hear it.
Yeah. And that's like very similar to like, Lechuza, and they're just from different continents. So it would make sense that like, oh, modern America in the 60s, like they didn't really have, white culture didn't really have a word for that thing.
Well, and North America has such a horrible record of erasing the native cultures that were here before. And not
Yeah.
to say that like the Spanish parts of the New World did just a shit ton better, but I think there's a lot more like indigenous people in South America and Central America
Yeah.
than
'Cause I
there
mean, the
are.
Spanish were colonizers too, but
Yeah, it's like they were colonizers too, but like the anywho, I mean it's all very complicated. And
it is.
ultimately colonization is a bad idea. Um
Yeah, and it does cause erasure and cause, us to forget things or to not know things
and
that,
that's really
that
the
could
thing. It's like
be.
we're missing out on so much of the actual history of this very, very, very old place where we live
Mhm.
because the indigenous culture has been wiped out. So I almost say it's like we deserve to be
You
like
know,
getting fucked up by Mothman and
well, I just think that, like the way that they're described, I think that, La Lechuza is a type of banshee anyway, based off of like
right, right,
so many
right.
different descriptions of her and what she does and like her folklore. Um, and like the descriptions of Mothman, like, do you know that it was a man? How can you tell that it's a man just based
Well,
by
and they
face
like
when you're
the
describing this big white winged creature? Like, did you really clearly see its face? Like, how dark was it? Like, where were you? Like, do you know it was a man? Or are you
well,
just saying
and
that?
even the moth part of it is actually no one ever said this motherfucker looked like a moth.
Yeah.
No one, like the people that saw it were just like it was like a 7 foot tall
Winged.
human
Yeah.
shaped winged dark silhouette, red glowing eyes. That I think is maybe the scariest part. Is just like the fact that you can't make out any features. And so it is like this shadow creature type
Yeah.
vision, but with the red glowing eyes. Because usually, if you see like a shadow person, there's not like glowing red eyes, or
No.
there's not eyes of any kind that you could make out, but like the glowing
No.
red eyes in the like, you just are making out the silhouette, like you can't make out really strong features.
Yeah.
Although, speaking of strong features, and this is one that I wanted to mention in the episode, but it's a little more try attempting to be informative on the main episodes. But like, there is this statue in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, of the Mothman,
Oh yeah, I saw pictures of it online.
and really, it's so funny because they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna make the statue of the Mothman, but give him like clappable cheeks." Like
I
truly.
was like, I honestly, when I saw the statue, I was like, yo, this looks like just some superhero character from
It's like, can he be caked up though? And the sculptor was like, I am into this vision. We will give him maximum cake.
Yes, Mothman, but make it sexy.
It's gonna be so hot. Um, but okay, so but this is like we're stoned, we're talking about cryptids. We gotta talk about the frog people.
Oh yeah, what was it? What was his
It's
name?
the it's what they
Loveland.
the Loveland lizard, which I like because it is an alliteration. But the cryptid in question is not a lizard. No, 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 no.
No,
It is little frog guys.
amphibians
So yes,
of large stature, bipedal.
a bipedal frog walks on its hind legs, is like 3 or 4 feet tall. Okay, so we're like they're like frog hobbits.
Essentially, with some sightings reporting them as having wands that shoot sparks.
Yeah, I love that. I love
That
that.
was that one was what killed me. I was like, excuse me?
Because
What
I
did you
was
see? What drugs were you on?
because
Tell
I
me.
was already excited. I was already excited about little frog guys.
Well, as soon as you like mentioned it to me and I started reading about it was that Beatrix Potter story, the Jeremy Fisher that like popped in my head.
Oh,
The cute
sure.
little frog man, who's like trying to like get all his friends to come to dinner. And I was like, oh my God. So now I need to know, does the Loveland frogman, does he wear breeches? Has he got like
Well,
a little
and then
vest, a cardigan, maybe?
it's like what is it, Toad of Toad Hall? And like
Yeah.
um oh gosh, what is it? Frog and Toad. Do you remember those books? Frog and
Yeah.
Toad?
So it's like, okay, just hear me out. But like Americans are notoriously overworked.
Hmm.
And they say that like on a psychological level, when you're sleep deprived, it's essentially worse than being drunk.
Oh yeah. And I will
Okay.
say, as someone with moderate to severe insomnia, I have had times where I have just not been able to sleep for like 2 or 3 nights in a row, or like not been able to sleep well for 2 or 3 nights in a
Yeah.
row. And then it's like really when you get into that like second night territory of like not sleeping,
Mhm.
you do start to see shit and you do start to hallucinate. But the little frog guys, okay,
I mean, there's just so many like possibilities there, but I don't know. The skeptic in me is like, well, what if this is just, these sightings were seen when, what was it, the 50s?
right, right, right.
So I'm like, were these just a bunch of kids that like grew up on Beatrix Potter, like, driving around late at night, like sleep deprived, working, trying to like make it through, get that American dream and like, I don't know, stop to take a piss by a pond and like
Right, right, right.
with no good lighting. It's just like, a sliver of the moon. Who's to say? Who's to
Who
say what they really saw?
who is to say? But I do like the little frog guys. Like
And
just
like,
as
but
a
what if it was a fairy? But what if it was a fairy that took the shape of a frog, you know, to like protect themselves and like this person just happened upon them and they like were like, quick, change into a frog.
well, and then it gets to the wand thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, they're not just little frog guys, they're little frog
Yeah.
wizards.
Yeah. There's like something extra going on there. They're
A-
not just like frogs walking around.
And so it's like, you know, I watch a lot of Ghibli movies, but I'm like, is there like a witch, like a witch of the waste type character? Like, and you're just seeing her little servant guides.
Oh my glob. I love this narrative.
Is there
I
like
love it.
is there some kind of like some frog queen even?
Empress, you know.
Also, you know, it's like if you were a swamp witch.
I would totally like let the frogs play human and do what they want, You want to play with them?
Yeah.
Go for it, Froggy. Have fun.
Truly,
Totally.
truly, truly.
That's like the chaotic nature in me, though. I'm just like, why not?
I'm just like, you know, if you were like some swampy crone and you had like little frog guys.
Yeah, if that like that would totally check out. Like if that's the case, I'm totally sold.
Like they're like henchmen or you know, like little sidekicks
Yeah,
or
it's like, in the Wizard of Oz, she's got her flying monkeys.
right, right, right.
This frog witch has got her little frog guys
Little frog guys.
with one.
Um and so yeah, that is in Loveland, Ohio. Because
Yep.
somehow
Touching each other,
somehow
the
this
Mothman and frog guys.
somehow this episode has really turned into like cryptids of the Midwest because we did also want to talk about the um the Beast of Breyer Road.
Yeah.
which comes to us from Wisconsin, from rural Wisconsin. And then the Michigan Dogman.
Yeah, the Michigan Dogman.
So
They're both kind of like fit into that, like how we were talking about Mothman and you know, Banshees and La Lechuza all being kind of under similar categories. The Dogman and Beast of Bray seem to like kind of fall under a werewolfy.
yeah, they're like werewolfy characters.
Yeah.
Although
Trying to be Teen Wolf, but didn't make it.
the thing that I think is kind of like spooky though with the Beast of Bray Road is that, you know, I feel like a lot of like werewolf, maybe it's just because like the way werewolves are in movies is that it's almost this kind of like Anubis character where you get like a dog head and like maybe get like a little extra hairy.
Yeah.
There's like a
Oz.
but your body is still like human shaped.
Yeah, human six pack,
Yeah, of
broad
course.
shoulders, you know,
Mhm.
yeah.
Um, but the
That's a
Beast of
funny.
Bray Road is like a dog walking on its hind legs.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I've definitely seen dogs that like do that.
Yeah, and like some people have said that like some dogs, you know, are like reincarnation of humans, and so they'd be trying to like do human stuff because they've
Do
done it before or
do
whatever.
human type stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just trying to human.
And you know, it's like more power to you, truly. But like,
And people have even caught their dogs doing stuff like that on video, like with those nanny cams and shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know?
I mean, okay, so the Buddhists, though, the Buddhists believe that the most righteous people can be reincarnated as cats.
Well, it's because cats are cooler than dogs, you
Well,
know. I feel like
cats are cooler than dogs, but the idea being that like being reincarnated as like a pet is like a it's reserved for like the best people to be reincarnated as a house pet. And I
I,
think that's fair. I
I
think
think
that's
that's
fair.
fair.
Like if you're going through like a cycle of lifetimes and you have to just be like a human and just like do like and somehow you make it out the other side and you were like
Mhm.
a reasonably decent person, like yeah, you deserve to get to be a dog or a cat.
Yeah, and just like hang out and just like
I think it would be fun to be a dog because dogs do get to like go out and do more stuff,
huh,
but also they're just like dumb, so dumb and perky. Like
yeah.
I just can't with like the perkiness of
I don't know
dogs.
if I could do that. Like, you know, I need to have the full wheel of nutrition when it comes to emotions. You know, I gotta have like the sadness. I gotta cry every day.
Oh yeah.
I gotta feel my joy. I gotta have that grieving, healing, all the emotions. We gotta feel them. I just like dogs, it's just like, damn, you just you just want to please everybody all the time. How annoying is that?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm projecting on the dog and I'm hating on myself, but that's a whole other topic. Um,
But no, so the Beast of Bray Road, the Michigan Dog Man, there's werewolves around the Great Lakes, apparently. That's terrifying.
yeah, and just interesting because like the Michigan, it's Michigan Wolfman, Dogman. He like fits that, you know, Anubis style character with just like the wolf head
Right,
and
right, right.
the man body, which I'm just like, I don't know how you would make that up in your brain, you know, like how could you like just make that up? Like
Well,
you'd have
right.
to
And then it's
really
sort of
say
like
something crazy.
it's like you know, it's like they always say Sasquatch is just a bear walking on its hind legs or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just like, no, these some of the descriptions just don't that doesn't add up.
It really does. Well, and what I will say though is that like like far north and even like Canadian native folklore does have like some pretty scary shit, like the Wendigo.
Oh, you know what? I'm not super familiar with that.
So the Wendigo is also like called like a skinwalker. Um it's like this creature that basically it like starts out as like a human who like um
What?
oh, are you talking about the timer on the meeting?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's actually gonna end up being perfect.
Okay. That's so
So,
weird.
but yeah, like the Wendigo, basically it's like it started out as a human that became a cannibal and then like absorbs the power of every person that it eats, and now it's like this immortal creature.
Whoa. That's really disturbing.
Isn't that really disturbing? And that's what they say is wandering around in the woods.
Whoa. I guess a lot of people don't go and just like, you know, camp out for funsies in the dark
Yeah. Um,
up in them parts.
so I'm going on a camping trip this weekend. Um, and I'm like,
You're gonna run into anything?
I'm hoping, well, so, and I don't know if we mentioned it in this episode, but you are actually from here in the local area where I live. So
I
I'm going out to Bastrop. So they do have like the quote unquote lost pines out there,
mm-hmm.
which so actually the reason they're called the lost pines, and I think this is actually kind of an interesting story, is that they are like a German species of pines.
Yeah, from all of the German tribe, like all the German people that came over and settled in Texas.
Right. But they've even said that like that wouldn't properly account for there being like a huge forest of pines.
Oh, that Pangea.
Because yeah, because they're a little out of time and they're like very out of place.
Hmm.
Um, but it must have been interesting to like be German settlers and just find like a forest of German pine trees.
Yeah, that had to have been wild.
Because
Just like, oh, this looks just like home.
right, because Central Texas, I mean, we've got like New Braunfels and we've got all these like German ass
Not,
towns
yeah,
around here.
yeah, it's pretty wild.
Although I remember in school we had to take this class called like Texas history.
Hmm.
Um, and I think they still do that. Like no other state does that, but Texas has like a Texas history class that you take 1 year. And they made
Wow.
us read this book about like this German settler family. Um, and they like come to Texas, and then like the mom and like two of the siblings die, and they just like bury them on the beach, and they're like freezing to death in like Galveston or some shit.
Oh my God, that's where I was born.
Oh, that's funny. But I actually did not know that about you. That you were
Yeah, I've
specific
never lived there or anything.
that you were born in Galveston.
Yeah,
So you were born close to the ocean though, so that's kind of
yeah.
cool.
I've always loved being really close to the ocean. It like makes me feel peaceful. Yeah.
But no, so we were going out to the pines though, and I'm always scared I'm gonna see La Llorona.
Yeah.
Well, especially because okay, and it's like the roads to like go north of here, like the back roads, there's all these like little hills and like
They're so dark.
mesas and shit.
Yeah.
And then there's all these like little creeks, and like La Llorona is, like hanging out by the creek, and like all the little country roads though. And so it's like because we are going out camping, like I know we're gonna end up on some like country ass roads.
So, are you taking any witchy supplies with you?
I am bringing my tarot deck.
Love it.
And we're probably gonna bring some like Palo Santo and sage. And I'm also like planning on, so what the plan is though, is because it's pine trees, I really want to gather a bunch of like pine twigs and make like a basin for like just like cleaning my little altar table and like,
Yeah,
like spiritually
that was
cleansing,
so
like
cool.
spiritually cleansing the house. Like I want to make a little basin, and I think it would be kind of like a fun little like bush crafting project.
Hell yes.
So I was thinking of like
You're gonna have to like keep us in the loop on that.
I was thinking what I would bring from home would be, I have some like twine, and I think I could use like the twine to like tie it all together.
Yeah,
And like I'm gonna try to like use like vines or whatever, but I I,
totally.
I think I'll start with twine. That way I can like get like a good
You might be able
hold.
to find some like good bits of sap to keep it sticky and stick it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking kind of more like um just finding like a really tender kind of a twig, um and like breaking it enough to where you can like make it like a little rope. But I think
Mhm.
that'll be fun, and I've never actually made my own basin before, so I think it'll be fun to just like go in with like my instincts and just see what comes out. I also want to go pine cone collecting. So I think it's less about like bringing witchy stuff to the woods. It's more about like getting witchy supplies while I'm in the woods.
I love it. I
And
love it.
that I think is like my we're also going fishing, which I know like a lot of people do not really like see me as someone who would like to go fishing, but like I did grow up doing stuff like that, and I like hate to disappoint anyone, but like I do like to go fishing. Like I think it's a relaxing activity.
I mean, we're from Texas. What you gonna do?
We're from Texas. What are you gonna do? And it's like, like as far as like relating with like that part of my family and like that part of culture, like
Yep.
I've always found like a football game and like all of the screaming and stuff that's going on, like not a fun vibe.
Yeah.
But like just like going out fishing and like, drinking some beer.
Farming, doing shit like that. Yeah.
Well, no, not farming. No, I just mean like a fishing trip is a chiller vibe than like the other
Oh,
shit my family did. So because it's like, yeah, it's like you go out on the lake.
yeah, it's super
I think
chill.
I think we're gonna rent a canoe.
Oh my God, you guys should do that.
Like we're gonna rent a
That'd be
canoe.
so
Like we're
cool.
gonna rent a canoe and go fishing.
Oh my God, yes.
So I'm like really excited about that. And um, but yeah, I just want to like collect. I want to collect. I want to get some wildflowers. I want to get
Do you have something to press the wildflowers or are you gonna dry them regular?
I have okay, so I have this really, really, really big book. That's like all this like 17th century Chinese paintings.
Love it.
Um, and yeah, I think ultimately, I think that that's going to be, yeah, what I'm
Get
going to use.
some wax paper or something so that you can protect the pages of your book
Oh, I
from.
know. I was thinking of like using a book that I don't care about
Oh, that's
and
even better.
putting
Then you don't have
and
to worry
putting
about it.
that
Yeah.
book on top as
Yeah.
like the weight.
Perfect. Yeah, I've done that many times. It's super, super works.
Um, so yeah, like, I think, for everyone out there on the Patreon that's like watching this, yeah, I think that'll be a fun thing to look out for on Instagram, is like my little my nature haul from the camping trip.
Yeah,
Um,
like nature hall.
so love you guys so much. It's good to be
No.
back, and Yeah.
Thanks for having
So
me.
what do we say to all the cryptid bitches out there?
Stay spooky, bitches.
Stay spooky, bitches. Bye.